So, my name is Sarah Christensen and my role in the Navy was Combat Systems Operator. I joined the Royal Australian Navy in 2005 and I served for 6 years, which was the length of my contract. I decided to join the Navy because when I left school I didn't really know what direction I was heading in. I went to did a certificate in sport and recreation and sport development. Then I went to university but didn't feel that was right for me at the time. I found myself in a bit of a lost space and didn't know what to do. And so I went out on a limb and joined the Navy after going down to the recruiting office. I thought I would go in and join the Army and become a personal trainer, but recruiting redirected me and I ended up joining the Navy as a combat systems operator. Whilst I was in the Navy, I was a sonar specialist. So when you become a combat systems operator, you can either be above water or below water specialist. I was a below water specialist. I also sat and did radar. I was ship sniper, and I was a military fitness leader. So on board the ship in the afternoons, I would run personal training sessions. And as part of a bit more training, I did some demolition experimentation to become a ship's diver, which we'd utilise when we were pretending to be at war. I would drop over explosives over the side to pretend we were at war in training exercises. My biggest moments in my Navy career was the fact that the first ship I served on went to a war zone. It's not very often that being a little seaman joining a ship you get to go straight into a deployed area. I was very excited because I'd never even served on a ship yet, let alone going into an active area. Whilst it was nerve-wracking, there's a lot of fun that comes involved with being part of a ship in a big community that's going to do something bigger than yourself. I learnt a lot. I got to travel. We stopped at many locations and we ended up even breaking down in Dubai because I was on HMAS Tobruk, which is now sunk at the bottom of the ocean. But you make great friends, and just doing that kind of trip where you really had to get on with your teammates and created a family has really stuck with me through my whole life in the impact that a working area like that can have on you. Also, one area where not so great for me was I got shot on board the ship accidentally, but I was wearing a bulletproof vest and only being 20 at the time and standing on board the ship guarding it really is reflected and stuck with me my whole life, but also the resilience that comes from that and your crew on board supporting you through scary moments, because they aren't all tea parties and princesses and fun and games and drinking like everyone thinks the Navy is. It's all about being supportive family, and those lessons have stuck with me. And while some of it hasn't been that great, I've learned that whilst you have hardships, when you're with a group of people that support you, you can get through anything. My greatest achievement in the Royal Australian Navy, other than going to a war zone, was doing my military fitness leader course, because as being a combat system operator, they don't usually let you go too easily to do other things because you're a very important, integral role on the ship. You do a lot of training to become one. So I got to go do the military fitness leader course, and I really enjoyed that because it let me be a bit of myself in amongst being on the ship and fighting all the stuff you do every day to go up and just do PT like you would when you're at home. You go to the gym after work, and I really enjoyed my role doing that. At one point I was part of the ship's survivability crew, so if the alarms went off I would have to run and be at a fire within 5 minutes, so that was a nice fun challenge I used to have with having all my gear on hand and running to the scenes and doing that. But I really enjoyed then that way, giving back to the ship and having a bit of fun and bringing my personality involved. Another part is I got to represent the Navy at football championships. I'm a big AFL player and still am today, and I got to go and represent at state championships in Canberra and represent them in other sports such as rugby union. They've all stuck with me as big moments in my life. So in my closing statement, I just want to reflect that the fact that joining the Navy young was one of the smartest decisions I made in myself. It helped me grow as a person and led me to where I want to be. I've now become a teacher and I only graduated university 12 months ago. And being ex-Navy brings a lot to my students. Not only do they relate to me, I help them with their careers. They love to talk about, I call it my past life because it feels so long ago. But they have lots of questions to do with that and my service, but it also helps me engage with them in any other areas, such as joining the police force, going to do trades, because in the military there's so many different roles and I've seen them all come to play. It's also helped me to be a good leader, very passionate about so many things, but I find it's created me to be a strong role model in that regard. And until now, I haven't really reflected too much on my service, but I'm very proud of my service, and I miss marching on Anzac Day. I miss I was at a few funeral firing parties, and when I tell these stories, it's like all these memories I've forgotten get unlocked, and they always make me smile, and it's something that will stay with me forever, and I'll forever wear my medals with pride.